Hey folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just wanted to remind you, if you are not already a subscriber to our show and to this page, please go ahead and hit that subscriber button just below my screen right here. It's so important to us. A while back, we already hit our 4,000 plus watch hours to be monetized, but we're still short on subscribers. We got to get to 1,000. So hit that button below on the right side right there. See it? Hit it. Folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just wanted to remind you that the next time you need a hat, jersey, or memorabilia of your favorite team, you can get up to 65% off everything on Fanatics just by using our link, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Just click the button at the bottom of the screen and shop as normal. You'll get up to 65% off everything in the store, and we'll get a small commission for everything you buy. It's a win-win.
Let's go!
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. And if you love college football, you are definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you do not miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Jimmy, right away. Yeah, look, I guess this is kind of a tough deal coming in here at this time of the day, right after a loss like this, and watching them hook. It looked like that field goal was good. I guess it wasn't, but you don't trust the process, Jimmy. Look. Of course, Sean shows up. Look, guys, I think we're all going to have to kind of get through this a little bit as the show goes on. We're going to talk about other things other than Oklahoma football. We will definitely get into Defining Moments podcast. Yeah, it's definitely not about that. But we're going to get into some other things aside from the Texas Tech loss. Tough way to end the regular season, obviously, for Oklahoma. Not the way that any of us probably drew this up to start the season. Before we get too crazy on, calling for heads, doing any of that kind of stuff, I'm just going to let you know I'm not doing all that in here. We're not going to do all that. We knew that this was going to be, Sean, thank you. Yeah, we won Bedlam. We knew this was going to be a tough season, and this is the kind of thing that happens when you actually have to, rebuild. What you cannot do on this show tonight is kill that offense. I don't want to hear it. When you give up freaking 48 points and lose, I don't want to hear that. Dylan Gabriel had 480 passing yards and 6 touchdowns. We're not killing him either. So, here we go. I knew when the referee waited until Eric Gray called heads, then flipped it and said tails, it was not going to end with Oklahoma. Yeah, and look, the one thing I would say is I don't care for that pass where I don't care for that play call where you got Stoops throwing a freaking wobbler that stays up in the air long enough for Dylan to get smoked on that play. I just don't like it. I don't like putting him in that position. And then when he gets hurt, obviously we still got an issue. Well, hello there, Mr. Parsons. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. You beat Texas and Oklahoma in the same year. That's a banner season for Texas Tech. Good for you guys. But no, see, we're not going to do that, Morgan. We're not going to do that, bud. But I will tell you in this. Hey, what's up, Fanatic? Hey, fellas, I was in your live earlier. Thanks for stopping by. You got a bunch of pissed off Oklahoma fans in here right now. So enjoy. These are my Georgia fan fellas from the Fan Addict Sports Network. These guys put on a great show. You guys should go check them out as well. There are no moral victories. You're right about that. Wong Lam, look, and you know what, John, I'm going to get through some of these as we go, but I got to tell you, I wasn't happy with the play calls. They had that interference down there in the first part of the game that didn't get called. They did go ahead and score on that drive. So it was no harm, no foul. But you could tell that what was going on the entire game. It was a lot of home cooking going on. And, yeah, look. But I got to tell you, and even the announcers were talking about that it seems like the defense was being called more by Brent Venables. Look, the bottom line is this. They just continue to make stupid mistakes that you cannot make whenever you're going to go through and win these games. You're just not going to be able to do it. And there's, a lot of, you have a lot of arm tackling. You have a lot of being in the wrong position. They keep reverting back to the speed defense, that Grinch was running. It's just not working. Do we got defensive help coming in? Yes. Thankfully, yes. Okay. And honestly, you still had some moments where the defense looks pretty good. They're always getting to the quarterback. They seem to be, they tee up when they run some kind of a blitz package. Even when they show it, they get home. It's something that you like to see. But I got to tell you, it's just one of those things that. Thank you, guys. Again, we say this every week. And for the folks that, and I don't have a whole lot of you guys that come on my show that are completely delusional about what your expectations were. Those knuckleheads that thought Oklahoma was going to have a national championship in the first season under Venables. This thing needed to be ripped down to the studs. That's exactly what happened. You still see a lot of the reverting to the old ways of doing things, particularly when it gets down into crunch time. That's fairly well to be expected at times. And it's just one of those deals where and I'm with you, John. Everybody's disappointed, and you should be disappointed. But here's the thing. It can only go up from here. And this is not Texas from last season or even this year. You know what? They had 2 more wins than Oklahoma. They beat up on OU. I get it. But look, to come in, you lose 44% of your roster, and you have a new quarterback, a new system, a new offensive system as well, a new defensive system. Look, it is what it is. Would you like to have won this game? Absolutely. Absolutely you would. But hell, judging by the rest of the whole freaking college football landscape today and throughout the weekend, wow. As you can see the scoreboard, I threw the scores up on the sides there for everybody to see. We can go through. We're going to have to talk about a lot of that stuff because right now, listen, Billy, and you know what? Without a little Raider rash. Yeah, that ain't no lie. Yeah, Lubbock. Oh, Lubbock, that toddling town. Yeah. Actually, I'm from around the area, or I've lived around the area for a long time. Lubbock's all right. Yeah, whatever. Billy, I kind of agree. I thought it was good. I could be wrong. It could have hooked after the bar. They were standing right under it. I would hope that they got it right. But again, did it really matter? Again, we didn't end up in the same position. Oklahoma doesn't end up in the same position that you had Texas in last year. And if you're saying, and you have said, and I know you guys have, that where you want to see the results is year 3. That's where I've been. Definitely, you would want to see them better in a year from now than they are today. But definitely by year 3, that's when you go to the SEC. That's when you want to see these guys really kind of bring it together and be playing much better defense. And they are showing signs of that. And in a rebuilding season, you're going to have to look at those things. I know it sucks losing these games to teams like Texas Tech. Hey, my boy Chad Kusel, how you doing, bud? Probably excited about your boys today. Good for you guys. Thanks for coming to the show, Chad. Look, in the end, you still have the same thing, whether they won tonight or didn't, whether they won 8 or 6, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, it's still going to be the same thing. If you didn't win 9 or 10 or 11 games, you're still not thinking it was a very good game if you're an Oklahoma fan, or a very good season if you're not an Oklahoma fan. So we're still not in any different situation as fans of this program than we were coming into this game. See now, Jimmy. Okay, so what talent are we talking about? What talent are we talking about? Because the 11-2 program from last year, the 11-2 team is gone. You lost 44% of those guys. 37 freaking football players gone. 37. So at what point are we which guys are we talking about? Of course we always want to win. I saw tonight has me worried. What did you see that has you so worried too? I mean, guys, fellas, I'm somebody tell me what we're talking about here. So they go and they put up 45 points. That should be enough to win the football game, right? And do you really believe that this is what the defense is going to be moving forward? Is it? Because one thing I always know, and I understand you're upset, Jimmy, but I'm telling you, one thing I know is this. The guy has been a top 10 defensive coach forever. Forever. So this is where we're going to stay there. The offense hasn't always looked great all season. It hasn't, but it's been okay. It's a new system and actually completely different on offense than what Lincoln Riley runs. They do not run the same thing. It's not even really close. It's much more exotic, or if you want to call it that. There's a lot more to it. The play calling itself is tough. Yeah. Look, bottom line, there's a lot of things that have happened, but in the end, what I'm saying is yeah, but which ones are we talking about? The offensive players, they did their job tonight, Jimmy. The offensive players did their job. Marvin Mims had 2 touchdowns. Farouk had a good game. Eric Gray had another great game. What are we talking about? And yep, exactly. Please continue saying this, because this is what I'm trying to get at. This is the point I'm trying to make. These expectations of expecting to just come in, completely change everything around, and have to, there's 13 guys that were on that defensive depth chart a year ago that are not there. Some of them went to the league. Some of them transferred out. Some of them, 13 guys, though, that were on the depth chart. You've got Woody back, you've got Redmond back, and you've got Stutzman back, pretty much. A couple of different guys that are back. 13 guys that were on the depth chart that aren't there. And we're still expecting for them to just turn into Clemson from freaking 5 years ago. It's silly talk. It's silly talk, man. And when you're giving up, yeah. Right. Yes. Look, Look, okay, so again, I'm going to go back to saying this one more time. Yeah, I like them running the football too. Look, I'm going to go back and ask you this one more time. What exactly did you really expect that? What's different about today? Them losing in an overtime game, all 6 losses, or no, 4 out of the 6 losses are by 1 score, right? There was at least 3 or 4 stupid mistakes that cost that game, right? Obviously, the kick at the end, whatever. I don't particularly care for that. Again, I said a minute ago, I'm not really excited about what was going on. I don't like Stoops throwing the freaking football in that situation. I get what they were trying to do. I don't like it, you know. But you also had the fake field goal early in the game. You know, Willis just drops it. I mean, they get a first down there. They at least score. They probably score a touchdown on it. I don't know. All right, Sean, you want to talk about this? They didn't lose 44%, and in fact, the core of their offense and their defense is back. They have a better offensive play caller. The Lincoln Riley, Garrett Riley defense or offense is simple. They all run straights. They all run straight 9 routes. They're all 9s. And they're not, and that's the other part, is that they're not. Oh, good Lord. All right. Bro. Okay. You see the little thing right here to the left of your comment here, right, Curry? No casuals allowed in this show. No casuals. If you're going to come in here and start bashing on the freaking offense, then don't. We don't do that. They put up freaking 45 points tonight. 45 points. It's their fault that the defense gave up 48. Get the fuck out of here with that. You guys are killing me, man. What are we talking about? Janet, you can go away too. Not necessarily. Look, and here's the thing. The longer you get to stay there, and that Sonny Dykes is not a first-time head coach. And listen, I'm not even saying that Venables, you're right, fanatic. I'm not even saying that these guys don't deserve some level of ripping, whatever. Do they need to get fired? No. Is some of it on them for some of the ways that things are going? Of course. What is fake field? What does this mean? I don't even know what that means. Do they deserve some level of blame for this? Of course they do. Of course they do. As a first-year head coach, you're going to make mistakes. There's a learning curve there. There's a big learning curve there. And the same thing that, when you – but we've talked about this a lot. There was 6 games that were last year that were within a score, and if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, they could have lost all 6 of them. They could have actually lost the 7th one to Kansas had it not been for Caleb Williams' miraculous pulling the ball back out of his stomach and freaking ending up with it. There was a lot of things that could have happened, but you had Caleb Williams. That was the difference. It's the same now. The guy just won himself a Heisman tonight, folks, after what C.J. Stroud did today, losing his ass at home in the horseshoe. It could have been this. Yes, it's same Jager. Again, same deal. These guys, yeah, look, I agree. Some of this stuff there's plenty of things that you can say, but in the end, it was all in the flow of the game. Wake up this and what? I don't know what that means. I'm going to go through some of this stuff. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Come back and see us again, man. I appreciate you, Fanatic. You guys have a great show too. You guys go check him out. They are on YouTube as well. They have a live show that they were doing on Reaction here just earlier. I was in there hanging out. Appreciate you guys coming back and hanging out with us a little bit. We'll talk to you soon. What are we talking about? Jimmy, go find a therapist if you believe that. Who, what? Whoa, believe what? All right. Yeah, Caleb won the Heisman tonight. Absolutely. And again, folks, I don't know. I'm not going to convince all you guys of what I've been saying. I've been trying to do this shit for weeks, and it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over. I don't know what you even mean by that, Curry. But I disagree with you. I think that's a casual statement again. I don't understand get it. I get what you're talking about, but it works if you go and score every time. And when you have 45 points, you should be able to, even if they're only giving up 30. In this case, if they're giving up 42, it's enough. They're not doing it. I don't even buy it. I don't even buy it. So again, I feel like, look, if you're going to come in here and just start taking pot shots at Levy and Dylan Gabriel again, Dylan Gabriel, 480 yards, tied Baker Mayfield for the most touchdown passes in a game with 6 tonight in Oklahoma history. So if we're going to do this, then I'm going to take shots at you. If you're going to take shots at what I'm talking about, I'm going to take shots right back. That silly talk, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. All right. For a minute. Yeah, listen. Period. No doubt about it. 35 points should win any football game, man. This scoring half 100 stuff every week, it's not the way things should have to be. If you do it sometimes, great. But if you can score 30 to 35 a weekend, you know. Anyway. All right. I want to talk about some of these other football games for a minute because you guys got me triggered a little bit. You're tripping me out. All right. Let's talk about, hey, how many of you guys picked Michigan to win? I did. I have money on that. Boom. And they went in there and beat the freaking brakes off of Ohio State too, and in a different way than anybody thought. I mean, Clapp was sitting there going, I thought they were going to come in here and try to like squeeze the life out of them with the run game, which they did do pretty well with that. But man, when they came out, the shots that Michigan took early in making sure that they not only just stayed in that game, but took control of the game, and then the way that they're playing defense. Here's the thing: they got huge, and they knew that was what they had to do. Look at all the times that Harbaugh even was losing to Urban. And then my next question on this would be, how long do they keep Ryan Day around after losing like that? 2 in a row and in your house. We're still just going to talk OU, I guess. Okay. All right. Let me see what this is. Who the hell is Ted Roof Bad High for program? I don't. What do you mean by this, Billy? Billy Benson, you're new to the show, I believe. Bad hire for a program trying to recruit 5 stars on the defensive line. Why? He's not in charge of the defensive line. When you're trying to recruit 5 stars, you know how you are with Todd Bates, who has 9 All-Americans, is about to have a second draft with 3 first-rounders in it from guys that he recruited and brought in and taught before coming to Oklahoma. He has yet to have a defensive lineman that he coached that didn't at least one time become an all-conference player. Ted Roof isn't doing that recruiting. That's not his job at all. It's just, I'm telling you, fellas, this is not exactly what. It is nonsense, Morgan. That's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's why I'm tired of of people, like JP's always talking about, I'm tired of Levy catching strays. I agree. But yes, okay, think about that. Bobby, thank you. Look at how long it took. There were people in Ann Arbor that wanted Harbaugh's head. He was the last freaking quarterback that was great there. He was the link to Bo Schembechler. And they wanted him out. The dude went to the freaking Super Bowl. Stupidest thing you've ever even heard of. But seriously, they were talking about, there's a lot of casuals that hang around, man. That's just particularly, I've never thought that there was that many casual fans or that thought they knew about football in the Oklahoma fan base until recently. I didn't. Yeah, listen, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Again, Jager, we have to remember that this is not about today. All right, you got to go. You better come up with something real, or else you can just leave, Justin. We're not doing that. Pulling these guys. We're not calling for heads. Look, fellas, again, you would be surprised. I just saw it. Venables got to go. Yeah, he forgot. All these guys just forgot how to coach defense. They were top 10 in the country 8 of the last 10 years. The other 2 years, they were top 20, but they just forgot. Okay. And you guys know so much better about recruiting, all this other stuff. You told me what? I'm so glad you're back, Sean. I was wondering where you were the last couple of weeks. We've had, pretty good weeks. And you're not even around. What did you tell me, Sean? Continue. Justin, you better have something. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That they're a bunch of freaking casuals? Most of them are. There's a bunch of them that are. This, if you actually had expectations, coming into this season about them winning the Big 12 and going to and real expectations that you couldn't temper down once you started seeing what was really going on and what was left in the cupboard. If you couldn't tell what was going on by then, and you really thought that they were going to go to the CFP, then you're a casual. You are a freaking casual. Because it doesn't happen anywhere. Okay, 6-6. He's one worse than everybody's hero, Bob Stoops, in his first season. One game worse. And he could win the bowl game and go 7-6. Whoop-de-doo. It's 7-6. If he wins the bowl game, then he ties. Then it's exactly what Saban did in his first season at Alabama. Jimmy Johnson at Miami, first season, not a winner. Not a winner. Pete Carroll at USC, first few seasons, not a winner. Talk to me about. Tell me, and this is part of it. It's not just Lincoln though. I appreciate what you're bringing up, and there's a part of me that understands what you're talking about, right? But what Lincoln did was he prolonged the facade. This goes back to the Stoops days. There was a lot of things that were happening all the way going back to when they let BV go to Clemson. They just handed 2 national championships and 2 more trips to the game to Clemson by doing what happened. Oh Lord, we're not. Okay, so you didn't. So did you think that there was any way that they could keep Kel Gundy around after he did that shit? Wow. I don't know what this means, Derek. You're going to. Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is what Lincoln Riley did was he prolonged this and he kept that facade up. And in fact, the facade is what is alive and well. It's just built in Southern California now. Okay. That's what's going on. That offense and those quarterbacks, in particular, the quarterback play. And, I'm not going to sit here and go and talk crap about Dylan Gabriel. I know he's not Caleb Williams. Okay, folks. Caleb Williams could have won a Heisman Trophy here this year, and the facade is still there, and they still don't win shit when they get to the CFP because they're looking like they're going to go to the CFP. There's no reason why they shouldn't. Because Ohio State there's no way that you can stick, even though LSU got beat tonight. There's plenty of other stuff we could be talking about right now, too. And we need to talk about it. But I got to tell you, the facade that was built there and the fact that you had that kind of quarterback play, it only served to kind of worsen this thing. And with fans as well, because we got to where we expected. We expected this miracle year after year after year after year because we kept getting it. The one team out of all those trips to the playoffs that should have won it was Baker's senior season. And I was in the Rose Bowl. I can tell you that looking at Georgia and looking at OU was just as big. OU was plenty big enough and strong enough and fast enough to beat. And in fact, they should have beat the brakes off of them. Lincoln made a mistake there. Okay. Now, thank you, Jay. I thought you said he is the reason at first. I was like, no way you came in here saying that shit. Look, that was the one season that they should have won it. But from there, and I'm going to have my guy Peyton on, the recruiting guy, here in the next week or two. He's been working on a project. But I can tell you that you could tell that they were the same size. You were matched. It was a good matchup. They would have beaten Alabama too, Now, what I would tell you is the year after that, when they were in Miami, you could see it different. The year that they went to Miami, they had Kyler, and they were winning all these games 50-48. A lot of like what's been going on last year or this year, where all these games are tight, right? But Kyler was that good. But he had to go and break all of Baker's single season records 1 year after in order for them to get there. And you knew what? And I mean, look what happened. They weren't the same. The year after that, it was even worse. And since then, look at these guys. They're not as strong. They're not as big. There's a difference. And the one thing is, if I had anything to say about Venables and the way that he's done things and that I don't like, I would almost say if he knows how to be multiple on his defense. I would love it if he would kind of fit it a little more to the personnel you have. Now, is that necessarily the right thing to do? I don't know. To me, I get that you need to teach it to him because it is so much more to it. His defense is so much more complicated than, just go to the football. You have. No, nope. Not hearing that. Casual. It's another casual. Jake, come on, man. They put up 45 tonight. They've lost all these games aside from the TCU and the Texas game that they've lost 4 out of 6. They've lost by 1 score, and it hasn't necessarily been the offense. It wasn't the offense against West Virginia. It wasn't the offense against even though he had 3 interceptions in that game, 2 of those balls were tipped. 1 should have been a freaking interference call. They were holding him. I don't agree with you on this. I don't. And I understand that I don't necessarily agree with every one of his play calls. There's no reason. What does that mean, Derek? There's no reason why we were trash. They're not freaking trash. That trash would have been 4-8, 4-6, whatever. 4-8, 5-7. Even that, but even and look, very just like last year, there could have been the same amount of losses last year. You just don't have the same. You don't have the same quarter. You don't have the same freaking team. See you, Jagger. Yeah, I hope. Look, it doesn't change overnight, folks. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say this. It's not going to change overnight, and I would agree with you on this, Jake, that yes, sometimes I don't necessarily agree with all his calls either. I just got done saying earlier that I hated that first call of the overtime that you put your quarterback in danger like that when we don't have any other quarterbacks. They stuck Braden Willis back under center again, or in the shotgun, but at quarterback, you know, it isn't physically strong on either side of the ball. That's the problem. That's been part of the biggest issue. Look, the people that know. The people that know. And that's what I was talking about with the entire thing with Peyton. He's gonna show you that the size has gone down, the strength has gone down. He knows a guy that ended up transferring out. He's an Oklahoma kid. He ended up transferring out, and he said he ended up going to like a JUCO, I think. And he said that their weight program was much, much better than what they were doing under the last guy before they brought in Schmitty. Now, Schmitty knows how. I mean, he's had 5-6 Heisman Trophy winners. They're going to be okay. The strength is going to change. Right now, you're got to have to set. But folks, if you didn't think you were going to take a step back before you step forward, I just don't understand. No shit. There's issues with the with the quarterback situation. You lost 2 5-star quarterbacks. One of them, the one that everybody hated last year, just got done beating the brakes off of Tennessee and then turning around and smoking Clemson, going and beating Clemson in their own house today. You lost 2 5-star quarterbacks. There's nothing much left in the quarterback room. Okay. Look, that's fine. And you know what? I don't even care that if you're a fan of the offense itself. The point, but what you can't do, Bobby, and I think you know this, is what you cannot do is say that it doesn't work, because it does work. Is it different than what Lincoln ran? Absolutely. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more just a calling a play than what it was with Lincoln's offense. Okay. It may look the same in certain situations. It's not the same. Okay. If you watched any of that USC game tonight and you were flipping back and forth like I was between that and the Oklahoma game, you saw the differences. It's easy. If you watch TCU, Garrett Riley's offense, same thing. Different. A bunch, because I think that they're going to raid the hell out of that transfer portal. Now, Texas A&M somehow goes and put a whipping on LSU tonight. That's hilarious, actually. What a deal. You know what just happened, folks? And I really wish we would start talking about I don't think it was that. Well, okay, here's the thing, though. It wasn't Levy. That was freaking Dylan pulling the ball out. They run an RPO. It's always RPO. There's a run pass option with damn near every play. So he's pulling it out of his belly and throwing it. It was dumb. What? Sean, offense hangs 40, our defense allows 40. Somehow it's Levy's problem. Hey, listen, Morgan, I'm with you. All the way on this. All right, can we talk about something else? Yeah. Look, it's a different deal. And look, well, here's just an example where you're just talking about with Ole Miss. When think about this, you know what, Derek, you keep saying stupid stuff, or I don't even understand what it is. I don't want to call it stupid because I don't understand what you're saying. Would you finish the point? Like, this is OU. What does that mean? Okay. Run, screen, bomb, third and long draw. Yeah. Look, what I would tell you is this guy was the coordinator of the number one offense in the SEC a year ago. His father-in-law is one of the smartest offensive guys in the world ever. Lebby knows what he's doing, folks. He does. What's a realistic expectation for next year? I think 9 wins, 8 wins, probably. I think that's a good expectation. If they don't get that, would it really surprise me? 8 wins would surprise me if they didn't get to 8. Year 3 is what I want to see them, no more than a loss or something, 2 maybe, competing in year 3 for the whole thing. Yeah. Right now it is. And why is that though? Well, and here's the thing. If you may have just hit on something, Soundplug. Okay, so you just hit on something there. That, damn it. It's too simple. It's only effective when it's fast. That's the part I want to talk about. All right. Then why the hell are we slowing it down? Get on the freaking ball. Get on the ball and go. Go score. Go score. But what I'm saying is, yes, year 3, that's when you get to judge this coaching staff. If you're not a casual, that's when you judge this staff. Yeah, you know what, Bobby? Like my guy, Darian. That's who you need. My guy, Darian. Not speed guys, Darian. Right? Yeah. You're not gonna unring that bell, Justin. Not unringing that bell. Who's gonna play quarterback next year? It's gonna be Dylan Gabriel probably for a while, unless Jackson Arnold just comes in and wins the damn job unequivocally. And if he does that, then good. Good. But here's the thing. You run the risk of their offensive line is going to be newer. You kind of run a risk of, and here's the thing about Jackson is the offense that Lebby runs is basically if you're watching him at Denton Guyer, they pretty much run the same thing. It's going to be Gabriel. And he's not even that. Guys, this silly talk about him being on a short leash. I understand that he's not Caleb, but he's not bad. He hasn't even been bad most of the time. He's had some bad moments and some bad games. Last week in particular, but I mean, he also had an unbelievable first quarter. We just got done talking about if you put up 35, that should be enough to win, right? He had 28 in the first quarter, so it wasn't all bad. He didn't turn the ball over a bunch last week. And tonight he had 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. In the Kansas State game when they lost by 3 points again, he had almost 500 total yards. He had more than what Adrian Martinez had. It wasn't on him, but people wanted to blame him. What? Well, now, easy, Curry. Like, you're starting to sound like Speed D. No. Don't want to hear that, folks. Yeah. And I'll give you that, Sean. Here's what I wanted. I went back up and just saw that. If you live by that no huddle, you definitely can die by it also. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, but even like, okay, so something I wanted to say. So that third down play in the overtime, when the official was holding it up for them, and I guess it was because OU had substituted, so you have to allow the defense to. But the play clock kept running when it's the defense that's still subbing. I didn't like that. And I felt like that was a bad. Yeah, and again, I feel like, yeah, well, if you're going to talk about next year, because that's what's next. You've got a bowl game that, it essentially the best part about the bowl game is the 15 more practices that you get with the defense that's coming back. That's the best part of it, because we're not playing for anything, other than don't have a freaking losing record. Well, and here's what, you know what though, Curry, the linebackers that you're saying are slow is because they've been putting on weight, and it's going to slow them down when they've been what they were. They had to put on muscle and weight, so they're a little slower. But if they were in the position that they're supposed to be in, it's not an issue. Okay, that's the problem. The real issue with it is that, okay, their strength is not where it's gonna be, but what the deal is that you have to be this defense. You have to be completely, on your game. You cannot miss your assignments. If you miss your assignment, the play blows up. Yeah. Look. Well, and the other thing is man, how much? Think about it. And Bobby, I think you were talking about this earlier. The center's out, the best off. The line has been as good as the offensive line has been for a long time. He's been in trouble a lot, and he's not a huge guy, right? So you got to protect him a little better is part of it. Oh man, 48 minutes I've been freaking doing this with you guys. Can we talk about anything else? Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Yeah, listen. Yeah, why not? Those 15 practices are the important part to me, Bobby. That's it. To me, that's what you're still trying to get these systems in place. If you're wanting to try to keep a guy like Nick Evers around, which I don't know that they're gonna, because of the fact that, just kind of the way it all went. And I don't think that he was ready physically is basically what they're trying to say. Whatever. I don't really care who they play. I think it'd be fun, probably. I don't really want to deal with their quarterback. I think he would eat our defense alive. But this is me. Yeah. Because they have that quarterback that can kill you running the football. And that's the worst part of the OU defense is a running quarterback. When they start running, you suck. It's not good. Not good. So, and, Sean, you're being an Arkansas fan. I'm sure you're licking your chops hoping that you guys get OU because, yeah, it'd be good for your boys. Look, let's talk about some of these good things that have happened this week. Forget about this game for just a minute, okay? Jacob Lacey. You got Jacob Lacey. You got Ashton Sanders coming. You've got some good recruits off of last week's win in the Bedlam game, which was important, okay? It got you bowl eligible. Whatever happened tonight doesn't really, but think about it. To get, all these people that are saying, that, again, I don't want to even really talk about those folks, but the Bates haters, shh. This guy was a 4-star. He was big time already. He's been big time there. And no, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But honestly, the recruit side of it, I think that the guys that they have are pretty. It seems like if you're going to lose anymore, who would it even be? I mean, who would you feel like? The only ones that really were signaling that they were going to leave or that you had to have expect to leave are the ones that left. If you expected Colton Vasek to stick with his OU commitment, you were crazy. The guy's a freaking lives in Austin and is a legacy guy. There was no way he stayed, right? Taylor Wine, yes. Again, they had a big week, a huge week. The JUCO, what's his last name? That corner. Have you seen this guy's tape? Nah, I don't know if we do. I don't think we do. Maybe we do. If they do, great. If they do, great. But I got to tell you, I don't know if you guys saw my the video that I did earlier today. A lot of people have. It's gotten like freaking 1,300 views already. Talking about Evans being gone could be a net victory in recruiting if you get Micah or you get Darian Holmes or you get Brandon Harper. Brandon Harper has 100 catches and 1,700 yards. He's third highest receiving yards in the entire country, and nobody's got him yet. You know, Darian Holmes just broke every record at his high school in San Antonio. He had 81. He had 34 more receptions, 700 more yards than Evans. Evans plays in the same area. And 9 more touchdowns than Evans. And he's just now getting looked at. There's a reason behind it. But the bottom line is that there are guys out there that are better. This freaking out about Evans, who cares about that guy? Because on top of that, and listen, I'm not even saying he's a bad player. He's fast. He could take the top off, right? So can Jacques Petaway, and he can't wait to play with Jackson Arnold. Yeah, the Miami flip. Yeah, he was going for his bag. Do you want that guy? You know, what I'm telling you is these guys, the whole deal with Evans, you knew he was going. They were talking about him leaving. Yeah, Kendall Dolby. Yes. Have you seen his film, Bobby? He unbelievable. He's going to be great, right? Then you've got to go and get Lacey, which, I mean, he could have went anywhere. He could have went to Bama or Georgia or anywhere. Anybody would have loved to have had him. Okay. What did he do? He wanted to come and get a year with Todd Bates and freaking BV. Before he goes off, he's a grad student. He could go to the league. He doesn't need to do it. Yeah, dude. I hope you guys are paying. Listen, Derek, why can't you admit you're a casual? He is an absolute beast. Absolute beast, man. The guy, and you know, something I was talking to him, I was texting with him the other night, and he was thanking me for trying to get his name out. And he's been getting calls. So folks, if Oklahoma doesn't go and get him, TCU is going to, Texas is probably going to, because you realize that Xavier Worthy's out. He's going to be gone. You know, these guys, he's going somewhere. LSU's showing some interest. Somebody's going to get him. And, you know, you look at a team like, what could Oregon have done with a guy like him tonight? You know, they need a receiver like that. I mean, you think that Lincoln Riley wouldn't love to have a guy like Darian Holmes? And with Petaway's, he's even faster. He's even faster than what so I'm forgetting about him because I don't care anymore. Seriously, at some point you got to realize that, yeah, Yeah, he's 6'3", runs a 4.5. He doesn't drop footballs. I actually, if you haven't seen that new video that I put up today, go check it out because I actually added some other angles and just looking at some of those where he's high pointing the football, right? And making, I mean, he makes a one-handed grab once a game anyway, but just the balls that he goes up and gets, you don't see a lot of that. When you're that big, somebody last night had on Twitter had compared him to CeeDee Lamb, only bigger, right? Kind of, but I almost think he was more like a Dez Bryant. Maybe even he's more like a Dez Bryant type. I'd say Otis Taylor without as much speed. And I don't know how many people know who Otis Taylor is, but you should. And then like Megatron, big. That's how big Megatron is, right? He goes and gets all these footballs, right? He also has a very good quarterback, and they had a nice team. They had a really nice football team. They got a lot of speed there, but I mean, for being when you're 6'3" and you're running a 4.5, that's a even if you ran a 4.8 at 6'3", 4.7 even at 6'3", that's still a lot of speed for that body frame, if that makes sense. It's not going to get you a 4 or 5 star, but you know what I mean? Guys that are that big don't generally run that fast because there's just a lot to what are we talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and they lost somebody earlier in the week too, Bob. This is you wake up what? Derek. I don't even know. I'm gonna just not pay attention to you. So yeah, we're talking about some of these, but okay, so if there was gonna be any more defections, I can't even really think of who it might be. I think that they're going in the other direction. And for all these Lebby haters, the reason that Jackson Arnold chose Oklahoma is because of Jeff Lebby. That's it. He loves his offense. It's pretty similar. Oh yeah, they're getting rated. They are getting completely screwed rated all the way. And they've already lost. Yeah. And look, they won tonight. I can't imagine. Yeah. Hey, Low G, there he is. Yeah, I don't even know what Derek's talking about, bro. The look of a sprinter, not a big body power forward. Hey, but that's the thing is he goes up and gets footballs that nobody else is going to go get, which is what you want. And I mean, when Oklahoma's had as much issues, at least the last 4 or 5 weeks of dropping balls and not getting to them, and things like that, you need a guy like, and you talk about him being a power forward. G, I was saying earlier today, I feel like he uses the sideline. It's almost like he's boxing out. He's playing like power forward, boxing out. Yeah, and when you're playing UIL Class 6A in that area, South Texas, you're not gonna see a whole lot of guys, even at Division I, that are a whole lot of different body wise. They're not. You're gonna see some that are more athletic when they get to D1, but he's athletic. And on top, he's just so polished, right? When you look at Micah, dude, oof. And now he's not as big as Darian either, but I don't know, man. 27 yards per catch. You can't really argue with that. That guy's insane good. I think Oklahoma damn sure better hope they get him. Now, the whole thing with Brandon, I like Brandon, man. And you can't say that. I mean, the guy put up he's got 1,700 yards. He's only got one more touchdown than Darian, though. Right? Yeah, and it is a connection with Lebby. That's all it is. That's what it is, Bobby. Now, and it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be all right. again, I think a lot of people want to remember that, they want to talk about the defense. Give it time. But it's a new offense too. This is not the Lincoln Riley offense, folks. It's not. It's not. All right. Can we talk about some of this other stuff? I want to know what everybody thinks. Gee, give me your 4. Give me your 4 for the CFP if TCU wins the conference championship game, which I suspect they should. Who is in? You guys, Bobby, you guys let me know. Who is going to be your CFP 4? Now, it looks like SC should get in there. So, I mean, if you're just going by Georgia, obviously, Michigan. If TCU wins, there's number 3, and then it'd have to be SC as long as they win, right? And, did Caleb Williams just win the Heisman today? I think he did. Man. Yeah. I just feel like that's going to be what it is. Folks, if you haven't already hit the subscriber button, and we're having a lot of views a lot of these last live shows and stuff, for any of you guys that aren't subscribers to the YouTube page, please go ahead, jump in there. Soundplug, I think you're new. If you don't mind, hit that subscriber button if you would. Curry, Derek, I'm not sure on, maybe you can subscribe, but you're going to have to give us more than this is OU wake up. Okay. But you guys, I'm pretty sure you are already subscribers, so I'm not worried about that. CE, aren't you kind of new? Okay. So Soundplug, you've got Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and SC. Okay. Now I want to ask you, but the reason I wanted to ask you this, because it looks like Georgia versus Michigan for the chip. Yeah, I think Michigan showed a lot more than I thought they were today. I think that Ryan Day is not a very good coach either. I think that he's not. I think that he was the wrong choice for that program. I just think he was. Yeah, Georgia, Michigan, TCU. Yeah. Okay, so everybody's pretty much in agreement. Now, if TCU loses this conference championship game. Thank you, C. Appreciate it, buddy. What happens then? There it is. Curry just said it. All right, K-State's going to upset TCU. Okay. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I don't. I could see this happening. Now, because they had an 18-point lead on them the first time. Now, what I would tell you is this. I think that TCU is really sick and tired. Yeah. Yes, he is. I think that TCU is sick and tired of everybody thinking that the other shoe's going to drop. All this talk about them not being real for the amount of weeks that it's been going on is what has kind of, I think, steeled their resolve. They were unbelievable. Yeah, they were. Oh, yeah, and when you go into the shoe and do that, G, when you go into the shoe, yeah, TCU out. So if TCU goes out, then who goes in? Bama? Like Curry said? You think it would be Bama? No. I think that they screwed themselves because they haven't played anybody all season. The one game that you could say they played would have been Notre Dame. Mm-mm. Yeah, well, they did. They did. They have been, G. They have been. That's the one thing I would say is they have been. I think listen, what he came in and did. Here's the thing with what Patterson had a great thing going at TCU for a good while, if you remember. Think about it. Okay. That year that the Big 12 screwed that whole thing up when Baylor and TCU were co-champions and they didn't play that freaking conference championship game, right? They screwed that up. They were going to go. No, they don't. I don't agree with that at all. I saw what I needed to see out of Ohio State today. I saw what I needed to see out of them. No, but so what Sonny did, he came and brought first he brought the CEO mentality to the team. He's been the coach long enough and he's kind of underrated as one. But I feel like TCU, yeah, they got to win. Obviously, G, you're right. They're going to have to go ahead and win it. But if you've watched it in the last few weeks, I mean, yeah, the Baylor game, that's a rivalry game as big as any other rivalry game you want to talk about. It could go either way no matter what. That's how it is. Okay, so SC's going to lose the Pac-12 championship because they've only got one loss. If they win the Pac-12 championship, there's no way that they leave them out, right? I don't think that there's a way that they leave them out. But again, I feel like it's Alabama. I would take Alabama over Ohio State. Alabama's 2 losses are by 2 points total. You know, that's it. And on the road, both of them. Hostile environments. As much as I think that they weren't that as good as they normally are, I think they beat most teams. I think that they would be the one team that you might think could beat Georgia. They're the one team. Now, do I think anybody beats Georgia? No, I don't. At all. And TCU can hang with anybody. Look, man, Max Duggan has proved himself a lot. What they needed was a guy like Sonny and Garrett Riley, because Garrett being their offensive coordinator. I don't know. I mean, Georgia's the only one that's been dominant all year. Them and TCU. They're the only two that are left undefeated. So, I mean, and well, of course, Michigan. But the thing about Michigan, they did show something today that matters for the Big Ten. But I'm going to say this again. I've been saying it every week. The Big Ten outside of those 2 programs is hot garbage, trash. I don't care about them. I don't like watching it. I love that game was great today because you had a good offensive mind in Day. And then I think that Harbaugh is completely underrated as a coach. He always has been. Who struggled in multiple games? Georgia? Define struggle. Because yeah, exactly. If they're playing, okay, the Mizzou game is okay. How do you get up for Missouri? They lost to freaking Vandy, and here's the thing. And when you play that kind of round robin type of schedule, stuff like that's going to happen. But they still won those games. They did what they had to do. Oh, I hate it. Yeah, I can't watch it, man. I watched the Penn State Ohio State game in Happy Valley. Hated it. It's just not fun, man. But yes, Lawrence, you're right. UGA can beat anyone with their B plus. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. The rest of the teams in the country would have to have SC will get blown out no matter what because they're not going to be good enough on defense to hang. They will do just what Tennessee did this season when they went and played Georgia. And Oregon, same shit. They got their ass handed to them. You know? Yeah, man. It's not even stuck in the 90s. I think they're stuck back in the 60s and freaking 70s where you might as well be running the Power I. Yeah, it's trash, man. It's trash. Aside from those 2 teams, And the thing about Harbaugh is he loves to run the crap out of the ball too and play that old school way. But look at why did they get ahead in the game, right? Why did they get ahead in the game? Because he went over the top. He started, going for their jugular, going over the top. He was like, screw it. Let's roll these dice. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, G. I can't stand watching Big Ten football. I can't watch it. It's unwatchable. I don't give a shit how much money they just gave them. You just spent $100 million per team on football that you can't watch, by and large. Oh, defense. Okay. The SEC plays better defense, and they got better offense, too. So The whole thing, like Bryce was talking that one day about Illinois and Bielema, and I knew that was freaking crap. That was gonna, that as sooner or later that was gonna all come crashing down. Now they almost beat Michigan last week, right? Because Bielema knows how to slow down a Big Ten game. But what happened to him when he went to Arkansas? He got his ass handed to him. You know? Yeah. You know what though? I don't even know that they can there, Lo. I really feel like they have to do kind of what they did today. They have to do what you wouldn't expect them to do, which is go get some points. Because when you look at the one thing that you don't really expect, Georgia isn't. They might score more with their defense than teams are going to score with their offenses from week to week. But that quarterback's a freaking walk on, bro. You know, he is. And so they're not great. Georgia's huge. And Georgia's great on defense. And they replaced a bunch of their defense. They got it down on defense. But what I don't trust is that offense. So what you need to do is go out. You need to put up 21 in the first half at least. And then, slow it down. You know, let's run the ball. And they've got the guys to run the football. They do. They do have that. But I don't like the one way I could see you having a shot at Georgia is by, if you can somehow lull them to sleep with whatever you're doing and then hit them with big plays. You got to have some big plays somewhere. You got to take some shots to have a chance. You know what I mean? It's just one of them deals. Pass rush is not as gross, not to mention. Yeah, it's just, man, they just play like, it's so weird. Yeah. Look, man. And really, they didn't necessarily stop Ohio State. I'm actually looking at it right here. CJ had 349. He was 31 of 48, but he had 2 picks to go with his 2 touchdowns. That lost him the Heisman today because Caleb Williams had 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown, and they win in a rivalry game that they hadn't won in 5 years. You know, so that's Caleb Williams just won the freaking Heisman. That's another thing us Oklahoma fans are happy about. But look, if you look at McCarthy, he had 3 touchdowns. He was 12 of 24. He only had to go 50%, but those were deep balls. He was throwing all deep balls. He averaged 11 yards per completion, whereas CJ Stroud, even though he had 349, he only averaged 7 yards per completion. And he has way better receivers than what Michigan does, right? So they changed things around a lot. I was watching that game going, wow. As good as I already thought Harbaugh was, he's even better. You know, he's even better. That was big. So, you know, you had Cornelius Johnson with 4 receptions for 160 yards. The dude averaged 40 freaking yards a catch. 40. Had 2 touchdowns. Colston Loveland, same thing. 1 for 45 yards, touchdown. You know, Ronnie Bell had 3 for 46, so he was at 15 yards a catch. They were on the big play. And then they ran the ball well, too. You had an 85-yard touchdown run by Donovan Edwards. That dude is a stud. I think that if there's a team that may, and as much as I've said the Big Ten's trash, I think that Harbaugh has built that team into semi-SEC. That team. Because they're nasty on defense. They're fast on defense. They're going to run the ball well, but they also aren't afraid to hit you deep. He's a smart coach, man. That guy's a good coach. All right. Some of these other games. All right. So TCU obviously blowing them out. How about old Spencer Rattler? They're still scoring points. They put up 31 today, beat Clemson a week after putting 60 on Tennessee, knocking them out of playoff contention. And then this Oregon game. All the people that were telling me how great Oregon was, please stand up. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. I want to hear it. I want you to tell me how great they were after they got the brakes beat off them by UGA in the first game, and then they go and play in that trash-ass freaking Pac-12 and win a bunch, and then they go up 31-10 today and give up 28 unanswered. I don't want to hear shit about Oregon anymore right now. They got to prove it. And in fact, the entire Pac-12 has to prove it to me, because even SC, they haven't played anybody of significance outside of that conference until today, when they played a 3-loss Notre Dame team. That, how good does that Clemson win look now? I guess. They just got beat at home by freaking South Carolina. They hadn't lost to South Carolina in 11 years. Dude, I don't want to hear that either. I don't want to see that either. Somebody was saying Caleb Williams last week on Twitter. I said, are you insane? No, they don't want that. A running quarterback. I don't want him playing Arkansas, and I don't want him playing. Now, Spencer's not running, but I guess he figured out he could throw again. I don't know. I'm still not big on Spencer, but whatever. So yeah. And then how about old Texas A&M getting them away, screwing up LSU's chances at the playoff? That's just Brian Kelly for you, isn't it? Texas is going to, I got to make sure I'm right. Yep. Kansas State is in the championship game, so Texas ain't. Then you have, Cincinnati hadn't lost a game at home in I think it was 30-something games, and Tulane went in there and beat them. That's big. That was last night, of course. So was the Baylor-Texas game. Texas had a chance to get into that conference championship game. Doo-doo diapers. Yeah, no doubt. Fight on. Yeah, you can go away. Yeah, you'll see. You know what? I hope that at this point, I hope that SC does get into the playoff, because you will see what we've been talking about as Oklahoma fans. You can get your ass whipped. Yeah, bro, they're trash too. And all this smack talk. I mean, look, yeah, they got Oklahoma this year. Good for them. That was what Oklahoma's won 7 of 10 Red Rivers. Some of them in blowout fashion also. But I think he's fine. I think that it's getting better, bro. I think you've seen times where they've looked a lot better on defense. Last week, for example, when the offense wasn't looking good, they stepped up. They should have had probably 5 interceptions, right? Yeah. They're going to get waxed when they get there. And not because Caleb's not great, because Caleb is great. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to fire him or not. And I don't know about that good wide receiver coach stuff. I'm not sure that he's bad, I think that it's easy to say that or whatever, but at what point do these guys that we had picked as preseason all conference and even all American, if you're talking about Marvin Mims, at what point do these guys have to step up and play? When does it become about them instead of about every excuse we want to give and put on this coaching staff? Look, I think it's easy to pick on Ted Roof. I think it is. And I honestly think that, yes, if you're an offensive coach and you can call your plays, right? Which not all of them do, but a lot of them do, right? Then if you're a defensive minded head coach, why can't you call the defense too? And I think we've been seeing that. We definitely saw it in the Bedlam game. He wasn't leaving that to chance, right? To me, I feel like maybe, and I think maybe he's trying to do this CEO thing. If I had something to pick on for BV that I would really pick on a lot, it would be this, that he's not himself anymore. He doesn't act like he's himself, right? I would rather see him spitting fire and freaking out on the sideline like he did as the defensive coordinator, and I'm okay with that. They loved him anyways. They didn't care, right? You don't know yet, but that's because it's a brand new freaking program, a brand new team. It's the identity's gonna come. It's with his players, the guy. But look at here's for all the crap we want to talk. This is the best defense ever recruited by Oklahoma, probably. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. And listen, it's the my audience is like the least of the crazies, right? On Twitter, bro. And I know you just re got into Twitter, but I'm telling you, oh my God, Oklahoma fans are insane. They might be worse than Ohio State fans, and that's saying something. Um, wow. I think that you need to give him at minimum 3. And yeah, I mean, honestly, look, they almost fired. Think about it. It took Harbaugh. This was year 5, isn't it? 6, maybe. And it took him till year 5 to beat Ohio State. They were trying to fire him. If you think about Dabo, he was on his way out, man. He was on his way out, and he had taken over for Terry Bowden, who was not doing well. You know what I mean? I would like to see, and I don't want to see this whole idea that you have to be a certain way as the head coach. I think it's crap. If you win, you look at Saban. He freaking walks. He's screaming and spitting fire up and down that sideline over every little mistake. Everybody still loves him. So who cares if you act like a CEO or whatever the crap? You know, at least he needs the recruiting cycle in. Absolutely. And I feel like you have to just, but are they going to get better? Absolutely. I mean, look, man, make no mistake. When Clemson got good and they won a conference championship was when Brent Venables arrived. The first year wasn't great. The next year was better. The next year after that, they were really good. And then they win the national championship. They better get it. They better get it. Because then what? What are we gonna? We're gonna become Texas, and we're gonna grasp at straws like Steve Sarkisian, who's a 500 coach. No matter any way you slice it, he went from a very very good program at Washington, and didn't do shit with it, right? I think it's a reasonable timeline too, and I think 4 years is even probably a little more. But I doubt that he gets 4 if he doesn't show something in year 3, right? But think about that. They almost fired those guys, and look now. Harbaugh went to the playoff last year. It wasn't great for him when he got there, but I don't see. I could see them in the championship game this year. I don't know that they win it, but because I don't think anybody beats Georgia. I just don't. Jimmy, relax, man. Just relax. Rented use all. Yeah, had them packed for. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But here's the thing, and you can say whatever you want about Bob Stoops winning it in his second year. That wasn't his team, man. He did not recruit that damn football team. He didn't. Those were all Blake's guys. I love everybody and I don't even hate Bob Stoops. I love Bob Stoops. I do. I love the guy. He did something great for me at one point whenever I was covering tech, and I appreciate it. But what I'll tell you is that it wasn't as good with him as everybody likes to act like it was. Okay, it wasn't great. He was big game. Bob had went out the door a long damn time before he finally left. Okay, and when he got rid of Josh in favor of his brother, and after he made Josh change his offense, that's why he doesn't even talk to him anymore. He doesn't even come back to his own alma mater. He probably would never take the job as long as Joe C or Bob has anything to do with it. Never happened. You know. Story time about my tech story. What about it? Whoa. Which one? Oh, no. That's personal stuff. That's personal stuff. It's something that he did for my dad is all. It was something for my dad. It's just something I appreciate from it. He absolutely does, man. He's still, and that's the thing. From what and look, for all you folks that do want to get talking about Stoops, if you think about it, here's the thing. From what I understand, Joe C actually wanted to. The pistols, though? No, that wasn't his. No, he's a spread guy. He's a freaking air raid guy. He's an air raid guy. When they won the national championship, the Pirate was the OC. You know, he's an air raid dude. But and that's the thing. So okay, but talking about yes, he has had his hands around the neck, and that's the thing. From what I understand, Castiglione wanted to hire Lanning. And Lanning was ready to come to Oklahoma, and he said he wanted BV, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with BV. I don't. What I would tell you is that Dan Lanning came from the Nick Saban tree. He worked for Nick Saban, then he worked for Kirby. I mean, I think that he's going to be good too. You know what I mean? Yeah, he did. He did. Yep. He did. He forced him into the Pistols offense. You didn't know that story? Absolutely. Because he wanted them to do he wanted something that I guess Mike was bitching. After he got back and he hired him back and ran off Venables because he wanted him to be co-DC again. And that pissed Venables off. What? Huh? What are you saying? He wasn't the Pirate after year one? It wasn't the offensive coordinator? Are you sure? Yes, it was. Yeah. So anyway, no. So what happened? Well, Mangino was the OC. You're right. But he was running it too, though. It was all those guys. You're right, though. Good call, Curry. Good call. Anyway, when Mike Stoops comes back after he was trash, hot garbage at freaking Arizona, which not necessarily that's his fault because Arizona sucks. You know, they're a basketball school. But what happened was he brought him back. That runs off BV, who had stayed loyal to Bob as well. And then with Heupel, so yeah, after that first year, he basically kind of demoted him to co-coordinator and then made them change the offense. They made them change it because Mike was pissed about it, that it wasn't it didn't fit the defense that they ran. It put them in a bad position. A lot of people bought into that. I didn't. But he changed it, and then they still fired him at the end of the season. And that's why he won't even talk to Bob anymore at all. So, yeah. And like I said, unless Castiglione retires at any point soon and Bob gets his hands off of the neck of OU, then you'll never see Josh Heupel as the head coach at Oklahoma. And you should. You should. Although, if he continues to move forward, I didn't feel like they were going to win. I know they were nasty, but I didn't really, even after they beat Alabama, I had a hard time seeing them winning the national championship. I think that they're a year or two away from that. But the recruiting, have you seen their jump up the recruiting since all that? Look, he was doing it at UCF. He's been doing it everywhere he's been. So I think that he's a real deal coach, and he should have gotten some consideration. Now, I would say that him leaving is what brought Lincoln Riley to Oklahoma, which, you know, that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on which side of the fence you're on that one. I am of the opinion that Lincoln, for all the good that he did for the program, he also set it back. And I'm not the big let's blame Lincoln for everything guy. I hate the way he left. I think it was pretty shady. But I'm not the let's blame him for everything. I know that there's a lot of blame to go around, and it's not just for Lincoln. Now, the blame that I give him is that he perpetuated the issue and made it worse defensively, because even when he fired Stoops, which needed to happen, and that's where Bob wouldn't allow that to happen. That was how he negotiated his retirement. He didn't want to retire. He wasn't ready to. Lincoln was going to get the Georgia job, or no, I mean the Oregon job when Cristobal got it. He was about to get it. So they didn't want to lose him to Oregon, so they made him head coach. But in order for Bob to step down, Mike had to stay. And even after it was a total dumpster fire, and it was I feel like it's the biggest reason why they didn't beat the brakes off of Georgia. I know that Lincoln had that stupid kick and the taking your foot off the gas thing. I have my feelings about that too. I'm not going to run back through all of that. But I do feel like there was a lot to it that is not just on Lincoln Riley's head. And bottom line is, the dude can coach a quarterback, man. He can. You get back-to-back Heisman first-round picks or first overall picks in the draft. That's why he's about to get a third Heisman. And the guy that they got coming in after Caleb Williams is nasty too. It's nasty too. And he was going to be another Oklahoma quarterback. I'm happy about Jackson Arnold. I think that if you're paying any attention to that guy, you know that he is unbelievable good. But I would say that these guys are they have a better chance of actually winning a national championship with Brent Venables than they ever would have with Oh, good. I saw the beginning of this live stream. Home cooking on the refs. Are you kidding me? I don't know what you. Yeah, right. Okay, bro. Your defensive back, Dylan, was you had the same stuff you're saying is exactly what was happening on Tech's side of it. They did get home cooked. That wasn't a freaking interference call in the end zone on Theo Weiss. Get out of here. You know damn good and well that's what it was. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. Yeah, yeah. Hey, man, I sat in the Rose Bowl and watched that team. I know what they were about. And look, think about that for a second. Joe Mixon, P. Ryan, Dede Westbrook, they were unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, no, I don't think so. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, bro. Oklahoma has their part in losing it, but they won all of it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying that. I'm not even saying that freaking Oklahoma didn't have plenty of stuff that they didn't do wrong. No, they didn't lose because of the refs. I said there was some home cooking that happened. I didn't even say that. Mixon was there. Yeah, he was in that game. No. Oh man, you're making me freaking have to remember that. Roll 18. Dylan, you're just gonna come in here and troll because you're a freaking Tech fan? You're gonna guns up us all day? Is that what we're gonna do? Man, yeah, Rodney Anderson, you're right. Sony Michelle, dude. That dude, golly. Man, look at there. I get it, bro. I think it is going to come together too, man. It is. And the guys that have left and stuff like that, or that are flipped. I didn't expect Colton Vasek to ever be a Sooner, ever. And I didn't expect Anthony Evans to either. After what I started seeing and hearing, well, I mean, he flipped from. It's like Bobby said, he flipped from Oklahoma, or I mean, from Arkansas to Oklahoma. And then that whole story about taking his mom because that's her favorite team. Well, if that's her favorite team, how the hell is she not going to talk you into going to UGA? I knew better than that, dude. Good news is he wasn't even the best wide receiver in San Antonio. That's our boy Darian Holmes. Hey, Dylan, if you want to like really have your team be good, you should start paying attention to on the channel to Darian Holmes. Oklahoma may or may not get him, but if you guys ain't paying attention to him, you're crazy. You should go take a look at that. I'm serious. TCU already looking at. There's already people looking at him, but he's his family's from around the area. I could see it being a possibility if Joey's as good as everybody thinks he is. Yeah, I know they did. I'm not hating on. Listen. I'm not saying they lost because of the officials, bro. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. Listen, yeah, I mean, I get it. There was definitely some calls that were missed. But that's not why they lost. They had plenty of opportunities to win the game, man. Much. Yeah, Tisa's a better player, man. He's a better player, and so is Darian. And to be honest with you, if we're looking at speed and you really want a speed guy, go look at Brandon Harper's film. It's unbelievable. The dude has 1,700 freaking yards. 1,700. But Micah, I mean, the dude had 30 catches and 800. I mean, he averaged 27 yards per catch. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Dylan, pay attention. I'm telling you, you guys need to get the word out about Darian Holmes. If you're going to have a chance, it'll be early. But for being a receiving team, you want him. Any more flips against us? No, I don't think so. I don't really think so. I think that Jaquez is locked in with Jackson, and Jackson is locked in with Lebby. Yeah, Mixon was against Clemson. I just looked at that. You're right. So yeah, I don't see him flipping anymore. I don't. But that was still a nasty team. What I was talking about was that was a filthy good team. And I mean, Baker, I can't remember a season where you just watched the quarterback going, holy crap. And he was great every year, but man, it was unreal. Yeah, Tisa's definitely, he's a better player than Evans. He's bigger. He's easy as fast. I mean, look, literally he had 20 less catches than almost 20 less catches, 20 fewer catches, and still had him by 250 yards. Right? I mean, and the dude is unbelievable on defense too. I think he had another 5 or 6 pick sixes just this year. And they weren't even that good at Booker T this season like they were the last couple. Yeah, he's unbelievable. Great player. Again, I don't know that they flip him though. I think that because Kendall Briles is the OC there. And if you're going to compare offensive coordinators, if there's anyone that people think higher of than Jeff Lebby, it'd be his brother-in-law, Kendall Briles, Art's boy. And now I guess they're starting to look at Garrett the way that they were looking at Lincoln also. But that's all off of that same tree, it's different. When you start looking at, you've got those guys that run that air raid style, right? The Mike Leach tree, Mangino, those guys. Or you've got the essentially Art Briles and Lane Kiffin that are doing that stuff. So yeah, Tease is rated higher than Evans. The video, guys, go look at it because seriously, it's gotten a lot of views. But I mean, I really feel like it's probably a net gain for them to lose him. I don't think that they lost anything there. Darian is a under the radar guy that got buried on the JV as a junior because he had a brand new coach and for whatever reason, right? And he comes out and he had 700 more yards than Evans did, and they're in the same area. He even had better numbers than freaking Jaden Greathouse too, by a lot. And he's already gone. Yeah, listen, bro. Okay. Yeah, they missed a couple more. But it's not, again, Dylan, I'm just going to say this one more time also. It wasn't why they lost. I didn't even say that at first. I didn't say that was why they lost. And we came on like seconds after the game was over with too. So that's part of it, just saying. In the end, look, it's not some of these OU fans on Twitter need to chill out. Oh, bro, Twitter's a cesspool. Sucks. Drives me insane. Fellas, what else? We talked a little bit about that Oregon. What do you think about that? How the hell do you go up 31-10 and blow that lead? How? And that puts you in. I mean, that was probably your chance for SC to not go to the playoff. Crazy stuff. Tulane getting that win, that was pretty big for them. I still think that South Carolina, and did you see Spencer smoking a cigar and like having his phone? So he was like, I gotta look at his social media because I'm sure it's all over it. But big week for college football, guys. Big week for college football. It's been a tough season, I know. I think it's the good news for Oklahoma fans. Look, think of it this way. They got 15 more practices with these guys to kind of drive home some of those fundamentals like what Venables is talking about. It's going to give them more time on the, with other players that can help them with the recruiting as well. This recruiting stuff, that's the one thing for everybody that wants to really be down on this coaching staff. They pulled together a recruiting class that, I mean, Lincoln had one better class than that his entire time at Oklahoma. One better one. He's really good at the transfer portal. He hasn't really done shit in recruiting. Not in comparison. They're looking at number 7 now. If they'll bump up. If they were to pull either Bowens or they're going to be top 4. If they get Bowens or Hicks, they're going to be top 4. I think Spencer's probably 3rd or 4th round guy. I think that people like him more than I'd ever would. I wouldn't draft him for shit, but I think that his arm is big enough that they'll give him a shot and probably be more 3rd or 4th round. And honestly, he hasn't hurt his draft stock even just these last couple of games, man. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Came back in there. Yeah. I watched it kind of unfolding and I'm going, no fucking way. No way this is going to happen. Because I don't think that Oregon State's that good. And that's why I don't believe in SC either, because the better of the teams in the Pac-12, which is again trash, they struggled with them. I mean, look, Caleb Williams had freaking 5 or 6 touchdowns and 500 plus total yards against Utah, and they still lost. They that's their one loss, but they should have lost the Oregon State game also. They squeaked on that one. They squeaked last week with UCLA. They got lucky. It's just all CW putting his cape on, man. It's all him putting his cape on and winning. Yeah. Best overall draft class or recruiting class for Oklahoma? Yeah, it's this one, isn't it? He is a great recruiter. He's a great recruiter. And so is Todd Bates. He was recruiter of the year in 2020, and there were people calling for his head a few weeks ago when they lost that kid to Miami. Or actually, I think it was when they lost the guy to Ohio State, and who is the godfather of freaking defensive line recruiting, Larry Johnson. What the hell are we talking about? You know, Alabama loses to him. Freaking so does Kirby and those guys at UGA. What are we talking about? You know, what you need to look at again is top 10 in the country, 8 of the last 10 years. The other 2 years, top 20. 9 All-Americans, 3 first-rounders in 2020. They're going to have another 3 first-rounders this season from that Clemson defense that all played defensive line. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Yeah, this one. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. It's their best defensive class for sure. And then when you start looking even at their offensive guys, I mean, the running backs, I know people haven't talked a whole lot about, but Deion Smothers, whoa. Have you watched that guy? Unbelievable. The other guy that they got from what's that other kid's name from he's a Texas kid. Let me look him up real quick. I got it right here. The other running back that they got. Then that people are stopped talking about him, but Sammy Omosigo from Crandall, Texas, that guy's a freaking stud. That linebacker, wait till you see him. Derek LeBlanc, that guy's unbelievable. Lewis Carter, but then you've got Josiah Wagner. He's really good. Daylon is the one running back. There's another one too. You've also got Keon Brown. People keep forgetting about him, but he's 6'3", 190 also, and he's a speed guy. Caleb Hicks is who I was talking about. He's a 3-star guy, 5'11", 195. But go watch his tape. He's from Denton Ryan. He plays the other high school there in the same town where Spencer or Jackson Arnold and those guys are at. The dude's insane. Really, really good. They've got him rated kind of low, but he's been a big time commit all the way through it. And I know that they're not hurting, man. They're just not hurting anywhere. Hicks is the other run. Yeah. Caleb Hicks. Yeah. And yeah, Smothers. Yeah, but he's shifty, but he's also blow your doors off fast, man. Blow your doors off fast. I'm telling you, man, I like this. But the Josiah Wagner for a corner, almost 6 foot. That's if you watched any of his tape. I still will tell you also that the Dolby kid, go and watch some of his stuff. He plays at Miami of Oklahoma, or northeastern Oklahoma A&M. That guy was unbelievable. McIntyre apparently is really good as well. He's a big kid. But Taylor Wine I like, but Ashton Sanders, man, the tape from last year to this year, you can tell that he put on a lot more muscle. He was just a big dude. He was 300. I think he dropped back to like 270, but now he's all muscle and he's even more explosive off that line. He's a fucking handful. That guy's going to be fun, man. I like him. And apparently his family and the Hicks family were getting along real good from what I understand. I think it may have been Parker and those guys that were talking about that. But that can't hurt. And I don't know what's going to happen with Hicks. I'm not even going to even think about it. Because I just feel like they're there for the back. I'm not positive that Oklahoma's. I think that they'll give them the money they need. I'm pretty sure they will. I don't think it should be about money, but I don't know what the number is either. You know what I mean? That being said, if you don't get it, here's the other thing to remember too. What were we talking about earlier, Curry? And I think you were saying it too, Soundplug. The A&M bloodletting is starting. It already started today after the game. It started, and it was starting before that. It started this week. The portal will be full of Jimbo's follies, period. And those are all 5-star dudes, man. There's like 6 of them guaranteed to be leaving, apparently, according to almost everybody I've heard. Johnson and Vickers. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Makari Vickers is unreal. Like him. I like this class a lot. My probably one of my favorites, and he's about to be a 5-star too, is almost Seagull. Sammy. He's been, and you talk about a recruiter guy. He's been out there, he loves Oklahoma. But yeah, Makari Vickers, that's big. Just in the fact that they got him for the Florida guys is what I like to see. Derek LeBlanc, Makari Vickers. That you're recruiting Florida and doing it well is a big thing. Yep. 6'3". Yeah. Yeah, they are. Listen, they know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing. They're going to be okay. And again, I was saying earlier, when they also shored up on the defensive line, going and getting Jacob Lacey from Notre Dame. That guy he's been really good for the last 3 years. Graduate transfer, that's going to help. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get better. It had to get this bad. I'm going to say this is the last time. It had to get this bad. It did. It had to go down to the studs. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Again, watching his film, he's unbelievable. These guys, they know what they're doing. They know who they're looking at and why. They do. That's and that's the thing. You can let Lebby do his thing with the offense and whatever, and I think that there's plenty of guys that are going to be fine. I agree with you about the whole Kell thing, that he's been a great recruiter for a long time. He ain't coming back. Okay. I think that Wash is going to be okay. I do. But tight ends, okay. I think that kid, McIntyre, could be a tight end. He's 6'4". You have, yeah, Braden's probably leaving. Yeah, I think that they are needing that too. But like Eric McCarty, I think that chances are he could be a tight end guy. He's only listed at 180 though, but he's not. He definitely doesn't have the speed to be. They'll put weight on him. But I think McIntyre is probably going to be that guy. Yeah, I mean, there's more athletes. Jacob Johnson, I think he's another tight end prospect, more or less. 6'3", 183. He's got some speed on him though too. I think they do too. But again, look, this is what I was telling you, is that nowadays it's the freaking whole. I mean, to do well in the transfer portal is just as important. I mean, that's why Lincoln's getting away with it. You got to do well in the portal. So, and it's going to be full. And especially, I mean, you could see, yeah, McIntyre was recruited as, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking too. But they need more. They need more for sure. Ozeta, unbelievable offensive tackle. That guy's going to be really, really good. Look, man, all you got to do is look at this class. You hadn't seen guys like this in these freaking recruiting classes in the past. Not in a long time, man. And Jackson, I think his overall ranking is number 7 all-time recruit, behind guys like Caleb Williams, Rhett Bomar, Adrian Peterson, Tommy Harris, Jaden Hazelwood. Hazelwood is that high up. That surprises me. But, I mean, he's rated in front of Spencer. Jackson Arnold's a stud. Johnson's a corner. Yeah. That's what I think Plug was talking about him, right? Johnson and Vickers. No, you were. Yeah. Yeah, they are going to be good. No, he was talking about McIntyre being a tight end, though. So, yeah, look, man, they're going to be. Jacob Johnson's a corner? Oh, I was talking about that. I thought that okay. A 6'3" corner. I like it. He's got speed. I know he does have speed. That's good, dude. That just goes to tell you that, yeah, that's why you need guys like freaking, When there's corners that are growing that big now, that's why you need dudes like Darian Holmes. You guys watched it? Have you guys seen Darian? Have you watched him? Soundplug, have you seen him yet? I'll tell you what. No. No, Darian is the wide receiver from San Antonio, the under the radar recruit. I'll tell you what, that's how I'm going to end this show. I'm going to throw that on and then I'm going to be gone as we end it. Let me put that up and I will we'll go from that. I like ending the show like that anyways. Oh boy. This guy, he's going to blow you're going to see what I was talking about a minute ago. This freaking guy is insane. Come on, Jay. All right. Folks, if you hadn't hit the subscriber button, please do so. But check this out before you leave. You're going to love it when you watch it. So I'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Hey, guys. Appreciate you watching. See you on the next one on Tuesday. Have a good one.